one of the things that we all seek is we want to produce something, right? You know, you want to reflect back on your career. You want to have felt as though you've added something to the world. I think that's a natural human phenomenon. And one of the authors that I think captured this notion the best is Jim Collins, who's the author of Good to Great and Built to Last and a variety of other great books. And so in Built to Last, he talked about big, hairy, audacious goals, and you know he defines it. He calls it a BHAG. That's the acronym. You know, he talks about it engages people. It reaches out and grabs them in the gut. It is tangible. It is energizing. It's highly focused, and people get it right away. And it takes little or no explanation. And he's talking about this mostly in the context of making a great company. But I also think, as you're thinking about a profession, having a profession where the organization that you're joining has some sort of big goal that you want to be a part of, you know, it's a mission that you connect with, is really, really important. And I thought I'd share a couple of examples, right? So this is probably the world's most famous big, hairy, audacious goal, which was John F. Kennedy in the 60s, who said, hey, you know, by the end of this decade, we should put a man on the moon and return him safely to Earth. At the time, like none of the technology existed to be able to do this. This was a shocking aspiration for a president to put kind of on a nation, but it really energized our country and got people very focused in trying to achieve this goal, and ultimately it was achieved. You know, oh, by the way, has anybody ever heard the expression of a moonshot? Like, this is the moonshot, right? I mean, that is where this comes from. It's a moonshot because you had to shoot to the moon and back. But there are also a variety of big, hairy, audacious goals in business. So, you know, Ford, at the time he was founding the Ford Motor Company, had the goal of democratizing the automobile and replacing the horse, which in 1907, that was a big goal. Or Sony, at the time that Sony decided to pursue the transistor radio, a radio was a piece of furniture. It weighed about 100 pounds. It was made of wood, and you know, you'd have like a lamp on top of it, right? I mean, and the family gathered around it, like, gathering around the fireplace, because it was big. So the notion or the aspiration of having a pocketable radio was transformative at that time. And of course, they went on and succeeded and, changed actually culture as a result, because music became portable. Pixar, at the time it was founded by Ed Catmull, the notion of creating a feature-length film entirely with computer animation was something not only was it not done, no one had really even conceived the ability to do that. So the point being is not that any of these things are good or bad. It's about there are aspirations that motivated a big group of people, and people were drawn to it and had this emotional reaction of, I want to be part of that. I want to go make that happen. So the reason why I'm raising all of this is, as you're reflecting upon your own career, what kinds of big, hairy, audacious goal so intrigues you that you could work on it for 10 years and feel like, look back at the end of a decade and say, that was time well spent. I'm professionally satisfied by planting a flag on that particular peak, and make it an explicit thought process.